This is the Rookie Big Board Rookie Profile Series. I'm your host, Matt Higgs, the FF Educator, here with John Lobb, the Gridiron Scholar, to break down Notre Dame tight end Michael Mayer here. Everything about Mayer is going to be covered in the next 10 minutes. We're going to cover statistical background, film analysis, college in-depth background review here, and project out his fantasy football and NFL draft value. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you give the video a like. Make sure you comment. Let us know if Mayer is your tight end one. And head on over to patreon.com/rookiebigboard to get access to the full player profile and rankings. John, Michael Mayer, we've been watching him dominate college football for years now. Give us the background.
First, I want to say I really like this young man as an NFL and fantasy prospect very much. I do not have him graded as high as Kyle Pitts, but Matt, it's very close. He's an exceptional two-way prospect, and I think there's going to be NFL teams that even have him graded higher than Pitts because of his ability to block. He's been on the national stage now since high school. He was a four-star recruit coming out, and we have seen a lot of high school recruits, Matt, at this position, and they fall very short of their expectations. But Michael Mayer, I think he has exceeded them at college. He was a number 48 overall player nationally when he came out. He was the number 2 tight end prospect in the nation, number 1 player in the state of Kentucky, and the Gatorade Player of the Year. He was so good in high school. His last year, he had 49 receptions for 970 yards and 15 touchdowns. He also scored twice on the ground as a high school player. He blew people away at the high school level. He's so big. As a true freshman, he was an immediate contributor, Matt. Early breakout. Started 3 games and played in all 12. He had 42 receptions for 450 yards and 2 touchdowns. Is basically an 18/19-year-old at a very difficult position for the Fighting Irish. That's impressive. He was first-team freshman All-America, third-team All-ACC, and All-ACC academic team. If you don't remember, the only time Notre Dame played in a conference was during the COVID year. They're an independent program, but Notre Dame played in the ACC. The next year, 2021, he was named AP third-team All-American. He was even better, Matt. 71 receptions, 840 yards, and 7 touchdowns. John Mackey Award semifinalist. Last year, Matt, AP first-team All-American, beating Brock Bowers of Georgia, depending on what list you look at. It was about even, and he was a John Mackey Awards finalist. He had 67 catches for 809 yards and 9 touchdowns. Matt, he's prolific pass catcher. What's your film study say about this young man?
Right off the bat, John, you have to start with the fact that he is a sure-handed receiver. All right, you watch Mayer on tape, and he almost resembles more of an oversized wideout as opposed to a tight end prospect that you're traditionally looking at. And I want to clarify here, I don't mean that in the way of a guy like Kyle Pitts, who you mentioned, right? Because Kyle Pitts looked like an athlete around the field. A lot of the conversation was, you could evaluate him as a wide receiver. Michael Mayer's body frame is clearly a tight end, right? But the way that he is able to go up and track the ball, the way he's able to put his body in a position to win, and the athleticism he uses on his large frame does resemble a wide receiver in the way that they win. All right. And Mayer is so successful because he's able to win in different ways. He's effective along the boundary. He's comfortable working over the middle, All right, you can look on his tape here and find examples of Mayer getting slapped, by three corners here or in a linebacker over the middle of the field after catching the ball, and they just bounce off of him. All right, he is not phased in contact. He's a great contested catch guy, and John, a big target in the red zone for Notre Dame. When we're talking about Notre Dame, we're not talking about a program that throws the ball a ton, right? I mean, look over the course of Mayer's career. He had what? Ian Book. He had a couple games of Tyler Buckner this past year. We had Drew Pine. I mean, just a rotation of quarterbacks here who are not going to jump off the tape here. But when it got to the red zone, when they needed a safe target over the middle, it's going to be Michael Mayer. He led the way here for this Fighting Irish. And John, from right off the bat as a true freshman, I like Mayer in pass protection. He's reliable. He's got a nice anchor. He's able, pretty good range there coming off the tight end spot. I will say, if we're talking about his weaknesses, John, to be fair, looking at the film, he's not going to be the fastest guy, right? Running even at the tight end position. He's not going to be the fastest guy at the combine. We know that. That's okay. He doesn't need that in order to win. And at times he can struggle to finish those run blocks. So he's going to have to polish that a little bit at the NFL level. But it's not so concerning that it's going to stop him from being a day one starter at the NFL level. There is a ton to like when it comes to Michael Mayer, and that's not a phrase I usually say after watching a tight end prospect. But John, I mentioned the stats are good. Talk to us a little bit more about that.
Matt, the stats are great. And I went back today in preparation for today's show, and I watched more Michael Mayer, and I'm more impressed with him than when I broke him down about 3 weeks ago. And I agree with you. He's not going to be the uber athlete. But I'll say this. He's a football player. He is all football. And I had visions of him in 2 tight end formations, Matt. He is going to be a problem because you can wham block. You could push him, put him in motion, and he can block on the edge, or you could put him in motion and have him go out for a pass. I mean, he is such a weapon because you can run with him. He can be a blocking tight end and a pass catcher. The NFL is going to love him. Look at the key stats. Every benchmark, incredible. 180 career receptions for a tight end, Matt, in 3 seasons. I'm looking at 90. He doubles that projection. He only had 11.7 yards per reception, but Matt, part of it, you discussed the quarterbacks. It's not like they're throwing deep down the field. He's not a yak monster. He's good, but he's not going to get the 40-yard run after the catch. But that's fine. I'll take the 10 yards in the first down any day. 64% catch rate, which is really nice in context of that Notre Dame offense with who's throwing the football. This jumps off the page also, Matt. I'm looking for a 15% aerial dominator for a tight end. He had a 30% at Notre Dame. That is outstanding for the tight end position. He has 2,099 career yards, and at 6'4", 249, he is all the NFL size. And Matt, he plays big, and he's very physical. What should fantasy fans and dynasty owners know about this young man?
Now, there's a lot of conversation, John, about whether Mayer will be the first tight end off the board. I think there's 2 factors talking about this in terms of the NFL draft context, right? One is that, there's a little bit of a pick your favorite flavor in terms of the type of tight end that you want. The other thing, John, is I think we're just bored and we want to make up storylines because Mayer is the tight end 1. He's been the tight end 1. I expect him to come off the board safely here in my day 1 late to day 2 mid draft capital range, which is 21 to 50 overall. I wouldn't be shocked, John, if he sneaks into the top 20, in which case he's going to get a nice draft capital bump in my formula. But nonetheless, here, Mayer will be a top tight end selection here in the NFL draft. John, I have his rookie ADP right now at 109 to 112. In the Rookie Big Board Patron Discord, we've been doing mock drafts. I check out mock drafts from across the community, and Mayer right now is more in a second round ADP at this point. However, I think that's going to change once he secures that draft capital. He will be a late first round Superflex rookie draft selection, and I think he returns really nice value at that spot as well. Now, in a world where saying a weekly starter is not a given at the tight end position, right? It is so great to be able to talk about a prospect who we can legitimately say is going to slot in here and quickly contribute as a consistent producer in your fantasy football lineup. That's what Michael Mayer gives you, right? He gives you somebody who is going to come in and immediately be a top 6 to 8 fantasy football tight end. In terms of his value right now, John, what he brings to your fantasy football lineup, I would equal that to a guy like George Kittle, right? George Kittle has had some top 3 tight end seasons. We've struggled with injury, so he's falling in that tight end, 5 to 8 range for most folks in dynasty ranks. So let's put Michael Mayer right in there with that similar value, John. But I'll tell you what is not a similar value anything when you're comparing it to the Rookie Big Board. Head on over to Rookie Big Board, our patreon.com/Rookie Big Board. Get access to our uncomparable value here, just $3 a month for rookie profiles. Over 180 rookies now on the Rookie Big Board, full access to the Discord, the rankings, all the good stuff. And as always, we appreciate you checking out this episode of the Rookie Big Board.